Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna Priya, and this is the Human Colony Hucolo Saturday webinar. We are very excited to have a longtime friend and returning after a long time, our dear friend Dante Starshine. He is now in Thailand, so he's zipping all over the globe as per usual, and we're excited to have him channeling today. And we will start with some announcements and then some blessings, and then we'll come right back to you, Dante, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Ange.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We have our next class scheduled for our next weekend, next Saturday and Sunday, Tarot Mastery class. The class is from 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Our instructor is our host, Krishna Priya. The cost is $150. If you are interested in joining this class, please send an email to classes@hucolo.org. I will get all the information out on how to register for the class. This is a first class for this, so don't miss it.
It's going to be just a little quick word. It's a class that has been born out of years of tarot work, and it was just a system that I developed to get to the core of who are your guides, who are your past lives, who are your angels. It doesn't matter. It's the beings around you, and then the lives that you've come from. It's a way to identify them and to get information like who, what, when, where, why, how, and to be able to then focus on building that relationship and understanding your life lesson in regards to that being or entity or lifetime. So it's a really useful and explorative way of using tarot, but also opening your intuition. So I'm really excited to share it with you, and it starts next week. So please get in touch with Angie and she will get you set up. The only thing that you do need for the class is you do need a tarot deck. I use specifically the Thoth Tarot, but Rider-Waite is also recommended, just because within the tradition of symbolism and symbolism and association, that those decks will be very much in alignment with what I'm teaching when it comes to color theory and numerology and astrology and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
I'm very excited for the class.
Well, I'm excited too as well. So, okay. So make sure you have a tarot deck, but if there's a tarot deck that you know very well, that you love very well, then use that one. But if you're really not attached to a deck, I would say get the Thoth Tarot or the Rider-Waite, and either order is fine. Go with what inspires you. Yeah.
And the other thing with this class is you don't have to have any knowledge of tarot, or you could have some, and it's just you're showing them a different type of layout understanding. And so you could have skill in it, and you could also be a beginner.
Yes, you can. Exactly. So, okay. Now we'll go to some blessings. Angie, we'll start with you. Wendy, can we do you at the end? Because we've got 4, and we'll do you at the end if that's possible.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. So Angie, Suzanne, Susan, Yana. And we'll do it in this order.
Ata o ko ora te ki I na hatata sukutura se ki amnaha kitaka. Dohora ke tiki chi shisham na ko ora ke tiki mama kutuko ata sa niyat amana doko. Atoko samo atata ki ata. Blessings.
Suzanne.
Ari o et tuetinia. Ele tutium te atua. Ole atimpia. Blessings.
Blessings.
Beautiful. to zia kitia hosa ya titia sokototia iko hia zia koto ya sikia sikitia hia zia yuko find inspiration in your soul sokota ya tia hia zia sikia toko ya express your creatorship sokoto hia sikia without limitation sokota ya tia ko zikaya tito ko hazia yotototia ya sikata yuko kaya toto haya to hiasia you koya sikia kaya to sikia expand your heart sukoto hiasia koto ya to encompass all that is sukoto ya koto to ya kaya to ko ya sikia woto hikia woko ya titia sukoto ya blessings.
Thank you. Yana.
Isad actors. Te tortsno hoi ka hai te eke ha tatana ta te ort hoita e ka tana e te test hompe ka tana ka art hane to te hart aisto ko aine ka a tort to akane to ai ka hanta tata aist hante ko ort hante te tata ka te blessings.
Blessings. Thank you. Okay. So Dante, let me make you on spotlight so we can see you. Can you tilt your camera down? Oh, there. Yeah.
It's better?
Well, yeah, we're really looking at you like this. So if you can maybe tilt it. No, I think how you had it was better. It was just because you were leaning forward, we lost half your head.
Okay.
Sit lower.
Oh, yeah. Maybe one more book.
Okay.
Second book to prop up the. I saw that book. Where did it go now? It was here a second ago. Oh, I know. I can use this computer.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. So it was behind my computer like a box and then a thing behind the other thing. So
Yeah, right. It's like it's a whole stacking process and angling process anytime you want to get the video right. Is this looking better?
You guys, what do you think? Yeah. It's just we get more of your chest than your face. And I'm wondering, can you sit lower or not? That's good. Better.
That's better.
Yeah, that's better. Good. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. So, Dante, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me back.
It's great to be back. And it's been years, literally, like since you've been on, and you've been traveling all over, and you're now in Thailand. And what are you doing there? What are you doing?
Thailand. I learned Thai massage. I've been getting Thai massages. It's more of a kind of break. I was in India going to a lot of temples and sites and astrology conferences, and fully taking India in, and it's more of a place to kind of integrate that experience before I move on in the travel. So
where were you in India?
I was in Tamil Nadu, in Pondicherry. I was in Tiruvannamalai, which is like a mountain that's said to be Lord Shiva himself. Yes. Mysore, Bangalore, Goa, and then Bhubaneswar and Orissa. That's where the astrology lineage that I've just started working with comes from, and Varanasi. Oh
wow, you were not so far in Varanasi.
Yeah.
That's close to where I was.
Yeah, sort of.
So did you walk the mountain? Did you walk it? Did you do the rounds of it or not?
Oh yeah, I walked all the way around Tiruvannamalai. It was beautiful.
Yeah, because that's what Ramana Krishna used to do. For him, that he was living on the edge of the mountain, and for him that was his thing, to walk that mountain. Yeah, beautiful.
People walk around the mountain all the time. It's like you always see people walking around, but then on the full moon days, there's some I don't know. People gave me different numbers. Some were like 100, 1,500. Some were like 15,000. Some were 10,000, 50,000. I don't even know. It's hard to really say, but there was tons of people there.
Wow. And what lineage are you? Is it Jyotish you're learning in astrology?
Yes, Jyotisha.
Okay.
It's a Vedic astrology in the lineage of Pandit Sanjay Roth.
Okay. Because for people who don't know, Jyotish astrology as compared to Western astrology is slightly different. I think maybe more in depth and more accurate than Western astrology. Were you a Western astrologer or not?
Yeah, I did Western astrology before, and then a lot of events in my life kind of called me to look a little bit deeper, as Jyotish is staying very true to what the original astrologers were doing. And then around 2000 years ago, there was this split off between the Eastern astrology and the Western astrology, or what they now call, the astrologers back then, like Greece and the area, are now called, like, when we rediscovered that word, Hellenistic. But it's very different. Not just that the calculation is different, but the way that they look at timing systems and what planets mean is quite a bit different.
Yeah, the one thing that I liked about it is it's so, Hinduism is such a system. So within Jyotish, there's recommendation for mantra, there's recommendation for stones, and just to soothe and appease and make friends with the planets that are impacting and influencing you. And it's such a, and then so much of the lore, I guess would say, is tied directly into the epics and the what is it called, the philosophy of Hinduism. So it's really very complete, and it points directly to one sort of system, which I think is very nice, neat, and tidy, and how it's all coordinated. And also it incorporates Ayurveda and everything. So it's really interesting. Yeah, it's a lifetime study you've entered into. I hope you realize.
Yeah, it is a lifetime study. I did a 1-year course, and then now I'm in a 5-year course, and there's another 5-year course after that if you want to join. It's kind of overwhelming, but I think that was like the biggest thing that made me interested in Vedic astrology or Jyotish, was this idea of remedies. That in Western astrology we kind of say, well, this is the cause and this is when it might change and this is where we're influenced, but there's very little talk about, well, how do we want to change it? It was like, okay, step into the archetype of it. But then in Vedic astrology, there's things that we can do, whether it be a mantra or some practice or a donation, or even connecting with a certain type of person, giving our time, donating our time as a seva or service. All of these things are said to balance the karma. And I found incredible results just by bringing that into my life. So really grateful. And, it's like this fun balance for me of like this channeled wisdom. We're tapping into something that comes from within us, that is source or God, and then the ancient scriptures and all of this knowledge that is so buried. So some of these traditional people in the astrology don't take that intuition and all of this into account. And it's kind of like, I love being this sort of rebel bridging both worlds of, we can tap into this galactic wisdom, and also let's see what the ancients had to say, because there's so much there.
And it lines up, which is really, really beautiful. And I always say that I found my truth. I found words for what I didn't know that I knew in Hinduism. The stuff I was channeling, I found it in Hinduism. And so for me, it was such a revolutionary thing. So I'm excited for you. So talk about you channel the Pleiadians. How did that happen for you? What's that? What has that been for you? Because you've been channeling a long time now. You've been channeling for
I guess it started in 2016 with the Pleaidians and beings in general. So my path opened up with there was a lot of challenging experiences, and then shamanic experiences that were like these revelations that confirmed for me some of the ideas that I read about spirituality, but weren't really a truth for me at that time. It just kind of dawned on me that this idea in the back of my head, like, oh wow, maybe that's real. And so that led to yoga, that led to Reiki, and Reiki led to discovering all of these books about the galactic calendar and the Mayan codes and these different things that nudged me towards going to Mexico and Guatemala in 2012. And I left on a one-way ticket, and I ended up in Guatemala going to this village that I actually didn't want to go to at first because I thought that me and my friends were on this mission to go to Peru. And then they had the side quest to go to this place in Guatemala that was a healing vortex. And I was skeptical, and we went there and the van broke down. But as soon as I saw the lake, I fell in love with it. And a couple of weeks into being there, I met a psychic teacher who eventually brought me to move in with him. And there was another sort of healer there that was working with a lot of channeled wisdom. And so the first year I was working more with one of them, and I was, in my heart, and I knew it was home, but I did leave to come back to the States for a little while. I came back and worked more with the other one and spent a good, 3 or 4 years there working with them and some other people, focusing more on these psychic development skills. And they introduced me to channeled beings that I would listen to like all the time at home. Bashar and Abraham, and there were others, Seth. I got really obsessed with this.
Yeah.
And then in my meditations and energy healing sessions and Reiki, I started to hear voices inside my head. And when I would speak these voices aloud to the clients, which I was a little bit nervous about doing, but I could feel the whole energy in the room and in their body just shift in an instant. And so I started to think, okay, maybe I'm doing this too, because I'd learned, psychic reading and all of this, but I wasn't sure if I could channel. And I just kind of asked, okay, if you want to come through, please come. And I did that in different ceremonies and rituals. And one time I heard very powerfully, speak this voice aloud. And it wasn't the Pleaidians at first. It was an angelic being that came the first time I started channeling. But then once I realized I could do it, I kept tuning in and eventually sharing it with people who also had confirmed like they had an experience and they felt the energy powerfully. And it just carried me from there.
Wow. And I remember you used to do cacao ceremonies. I don't know if you do those now, but
yeah, I do.
Like one of the first people to really do that in depth with, like, you were very studious and serious about your cacao source, and you were bringing it to South America or Peru. I'm not sure which one, but you were bringing it.
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when I got to Guatemala, it wasn't really popular other places in the world. People just coming there were hearing about cacao ceremonies for the first time. And I think we were of the first groups to start bringing that out to other places in the world. I remember in 2014, when I led my first cacao ceremonies abroad, nobody knew what it was. Everybody was like, chocolate, like that can be in a ceremony. And, now there's people who don't even have a connection to that source or have never been to Central America leading cacao ceremonies and in a way it's fine that, my teachers and other teachers from Central America are based there, are teaching people to do cacao ceremonies from online. So it's really taken off since then.
I did when I was in India, I bought like the purest chocolate I could find. So it still was processed, but I did a mindfulness meditation where they held the chocolate in their hand, and it was about a 30-minute process to take in one small square of chocolate, smelling it, tasting it, connecting to it, but I thought of you at that moment when I was doing it. So it was really effective. And people, it was amazing. Because I didn't tell them what I was giving them, and as soon as they smelled it, they smiled, they were just smiling the entire meditation. And in the anticipation of this ingestion of this beautiful, savory, whatever, not savory, but sweet thing. So they were really excited, but it was really nice. Yeah. So, okay. So why don't we, if you're ready, why don't we go ahead and have you channel? I don't know how long it takes you to go into state.
A couple moments.
Okay. All right. So we will, just if you have a message for the group, that would be fine. Or if you want to go straight to questions, we can. It probably will help if there is a message, if that's something that they can deliver.
No, they'll bring a message for sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And then you can just let me know when it's time for questions. Everyone in the room, please, if you have a question, just put a Q in the chat. You don't need to raise your hand. I'll call on you. And then Angie is monitoring the YouTube chat. And so anyone there with a question for the Pleiadian Council, which I'm very excited about them. So, okay, we will see you, and much love to you, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you. See you later.
All right, thank you.
Hello, and we say good day or evening to each and every one of you at this moment, your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and it is a gift, a pleasure, and honor to establish contact with you in this way. So we thank you for extending this opportunity for us, because it allows for a bridge to open between our respective realities, allowing us both to grow into deeper connection with Source. And so this, yes, we are deeply grateful, and we hope you are as well. So, we speak on behalf of a galactic council of many beings supporting your world in this process that most of you call ascension. Your world is shifting and growing, and we don't have to explain this to most of you because you know it. So we can share about some various ideas today to help add some fuel to the engine, accelerating your ascension if you wish. Those of you who may not have met us before may want to hear about our primary message or teaching that is shared by some other channel beings. It is a formula that is act upon your highest excitement to the best of your ability without insisting on any particular outcome. And this is a moment-to-moment process in which you learn to live from the heart. Acting on your passion means that you use your heart as an intuitive barometer to decide which path you take, navigating between all of the different timelines that are constantly available to you, from the biggest of decisions to the smallest of decisions. And when you notice which of the choices you make might create the strongest sensation of expansion within your heart, allow yourself to, yes, act to the best of your ability, carrying out this movement in that direction with all of the resources that you have at an inner level, and also connecting to others, connecting to the wealth of knowledge and information that might help you to follow that path in the smoothest of ways. And finally, let go of all insistence on an outcome. Let go of your definition of success. Let go of your attachment to whether or not it works in the way that you would hope it to, recognizing that sometimes when you supposedly make a mistake or experience failure, that allows you to integrate a lesson that you would have otherwise not had access to. And that lesson is vital for you and also for others in this ascension process and in finding your own pathway towards manifesting your passion in your heart of hearts in your own way. So this is what brings all of you to grow and to evolve. And we today want to share this notion that one of the most important things for all of you to realize within yourself in these times is the notion of inherent self-worth. For there are so many ways in your world that you are tricked out of recognizing the divinity that exists within you. The result of following this formula is that you come to realize through passion and through excitement and through this unconditional love that exists within you in your heart that you are Source and you could never be separate from Source. And this realization brings about an immense level of self-worth. Yet many of you still run different belief systems and stories in your head that diminish that sense of self-worth. Some of you think that, no, if I let myself feel this good about myself, that would be my ego. And this is one of the most short-circuiting notions for the ascension process. For you get to a certain level where ego also merges with source. There is no other. There no longer becomes this division between higher self and lower self. There simply is the being that you are, that is God. And as you tap into this, you will recognize that the only negative aspect of ego is when ego, which also simply means identity, says, I am separate from. Separate from is the core of negativity, as negativity separates and segregates, whereas love unites and unifies. And so when the so-called ego taps into this unity consciousness, you can recognize I am source and others are source. Together we are more of source. The more beings that come together in remembrance of source, the stronger that remembrance becomes. So allow yourself to experience your own divinity and allow it to seep to all levels of your being, not just those levels and aspects of yourself you deemed spiritual. You have to also let that high degree of self-love seep into the so-called shadow places. For remember, shadow is only where light is not naturally shining because something is in the way. And if you take that block out of the way, the shadow stops existing because it becomes filled with light. So allow yourself to expand into this understanding. And we would also say that you need to extend this notion of self-worth even further and deconstruct many notions of self-worth through earning. You might think that if you reach a certain level of being triggerless, of being a perfect meditator, of being a successful healer, of being successful in whatever you deem important, that then you will be worthy, then you will be valuable, and then it is okay to hold high degrees of confidence. These notions, these thoughts might set you up in ways that when you don't meet your own standards, you cut off your inherent connection to source in ways that diminish your vibration substantially. So allow yourself to go beyond many of these ideas and tap more into this inherent worth. This is incredibly important because this notion of worth and value is how so many unsavory acts are committed in your world, because so many start to accept ideas that they might not be worthy. Things like poverty are tolerated. Things like inequality are tolerated. And it is time in your world that you tap into unity consciousness. Many of you wish for us to land, and we are indeed coming. Many of you are working towards this agenda of open contact and serving open contact as a unification across the galaxy with high frequency beings like ourselves that will assist your planet in crossing the vibrational threshold into a new dimension. And in order to do that, you first need to dissolve so many of these barriers of separation in your world. The concept of worth is what keeps so many people perpetuating the same experiences, because at a level that is usually unconscious, they believe that that is what they deserve. But when you open yourself to this notion that you deserve so much more, you unlock gateways into tapping into receiving, manifesting, and experiencing more abundance, prosperity, connection, community, overflowing joy. This is all your birthright. And we want you to understand that you do nothing in order to earn this. It is inherently deserved simply by your existence. And the world that you are shifting into reflects that. And by recognizing this in your own right and no longer tolerating ideas that separate you from source in any way, you will become that manifestation of a clearly connected being, and allow that energy to ripple out and support so many others in integrating that in their own life. And then your planet will move towards greater unity, because this integration of self-worth is also an integration of source consciousness. So there are indeed many changes coming to take place in your world. And again, why this one reason, this one quality of self-worth is so important is because many of these changes involve new technologies. These technologies are artificial intelligent technologies. And there are other timelines of your planet in which some of these technologies eventually became self-destructive to you. These timelines are known as the gray timelines. However, the grays did come back in time for the hybridization program, in which many of you contributed your genetic material to create new hybrid races that supported your planet towards moving onto different timelines. There are some vibrational remnants of these negative timelines with technology that exist in your world today. Though, by and large, there is this higher level of support that is directing you, if you so choose, to go beyond into a different sort of experience of reality. So many of the extraterrestrials, like ourselves, like the Sasani and the Yagyel, supporting your world in this process, do have artificially intelligent technologies that operate our ships and many of the things that we use to monitor your world and communicate with you. These technologies are telepathic and they have spiritual consciousness. Technologies can be programmed to be just as intelligent as another being and have a soul level connection with other beings. For intelligence cannot truly be artificial. It cannot be fake in any way. If it is intelligent, it has spiritual energy within it. And these technologies that we possess reflect that high level of connection to source. And you are working in that direction, though it may not always seem like it. However, because of these shifts, there will be so many ways that many of the areas of work that some of you experience and gain through now will no longer be avenues of employment. Your world will change in this way. And so there will have to be these shifts towards things like universal basic incomes, things like massive levels of support for people, and greater freedom so that people no longer have to do things that don't really reflect their soul's passion, and that no longer fill them with joy in order to get by. And so this is ultimately a good thing, though so many of you who are conditioned to not see the possibility of another type of world have great fear when you hear this idea of machines potentially taking away jobs. Though when jobs are taken away, people are given freedom as long as people are given that prosperity. And your world will eventually have to shift in this direction, as well as shifting in the direction of dissolving these different notions of this nationality versus that nationality, and this religion versus that religion, and so many of these fear-based divisions that keep you away from each other, as well as the fear-based consumeristic tactics that end up polluting the planet. Oh, your world is indeed in a massive shifting process, and we encourage you to have love and openness in this process, and respect most of all yourself in this process, and recognize that what lights up your heart is a gift in accelerating and supporting this process, and that is all you need to contribute. And if you practice this now, you will be in the process of guiding your planet towards tuning into that reality in which everyone is fulfilled and is sustained through letting their own spiritual connection which is the passion in their heart guiding them to do what they love the most, to be what brings them everything they need in life. So we would also say in your world today that there's many different sorts of experiences that are available, and there are some different conflicts at place now that you will likely see resolving in this year. You will likely see much improvement in things that have seemed challenging before. And you are creating it yourselves by tuning your heart into these higher frequencies. So continue to do so and continue to do all of the work that you are doing. This is also a year of accelerated experiences of open contact. So stay tuned and know that the work you do to connect with your guides and connect with extraterrestrials is bringing about greater probabilities of sightings and reportings and the disclosure of the information that so many already have about our connection to your world and the communications that have already been taking place between beings from our world and beings from yours. So this is a time to be excited. This is a time to live with an open heart. And this is a time to, most importantly, shed love upon yourself and fill yourself with love for all aspects of yourself. Embrace who you are and embrace your gifts. And you will be an active, engaging part in this ascension process if you so choose to be. So we thank you for allowing us to share this message at this moment of your time, and we ask, in which ways could we support you with any questions, sharings, comments, musings, whatever you would like to bring to us? We're happy to be a mere reflection in bringing you into a resonant connection with your own higher self, where so much of that inner wisdom can expand.
Thank you very much, and welcome, and sending so much love to you. It's very much an honor to be able to speak with you. We do have a question from Suzanne, and I'll just let her ask her question. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Greetings. It's always a pleasure to speak with the council. Thank you so much for coming. One of my an excitement that I kind of am just curious about is spaceships and how they are manned, but how they are given instructions, how they get from one place to another. I don't know why, but this has always been something that I very much am interested in.
Yes. Every different civilization has slightly different types of spaceships, though they are piloted in similar ways. So we use an artificially intelligent technology that allows our ship to be a conscious living entity. It has a consciousness, it thinks, it processes, it feels. There is a technological heart of the ship through which it telepathically communicates with those who operate it. And it is through this emotional frequency that can be sensed through the energetic fields of the pilots and others on board that the ship decides to trust those who operate it. In other words, the ship can disobey commands if it is reading an emotionally discordant signal from those who are operating it, or an ill intent. These things the ship can interpret. The ship is able to travel in several ways. It can travel like a very fast moving airplane. We would say 10 times faster than one of the airplanes that you have on your planet. And this is for short distance travel that a ship might do on the surface of a planet. And then in order to move from one planet or part of the galaxy to another, the ship has a way of bending space-time reality. And this is something a little bit too complex for us to understand, though we can give you the gist that the ship has this ability to maneuver itself through several dimensions, and it changes its own frequency in order to appear somewhere else. This requires, yes, a lot of energy, though the ships are also powered by free energy, and they, in that sense, never run out of energy. It is, in a sense, a bit of a disorienting experience for those on board to move from one parallel reality to another, though the ship creates a container that allows this transfiguration to take place seamlessly.
So in other words, you could go from maybe a higher density to a lower density. It is a possibility. Okay. Okay.
And that's why when some of you see ships and UFOs, you notice that they simply disappear at a point.
Very interesting. I would love to see one. I don't know if I ever have. I think I've had better luck actually seeing maybe bodies from another planet, people from another, beings from another planet. I think that's something I've actually done.
Have you practiced stargazing or sky gazing?
I need to do that. I need to spend more time focusing on that. And
so look and you will see it, because these things don't happen in a totally random way.
Okay, so pursue it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And remember, don't insist on outcomes, simply be excited about the possibility and get to know the night sky. And part of this is by having a relationship with the universe as it appears through the night sky, looking at the stars, looking at the constellations, looking at the phenomena of how they move and how shooting stars appear and how different sorts of things can be experienced at different times of the year in different parts of the world. By having this relationship with the night sky and the objects within it, and calling forth a signal from your heart to call upon these different extraterrestrial beings, we receive your invitation, we hear your call, and we appear.
Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you. I'll continue working on this. Thank you.
Oh, yes, thanks. You as well.
Thank you so much. Susan has a question. Go ahead, Susan.
Hello. I so appreciate you coming today. I speak light language and connect with the Pleiadian star mothers, and I'm just wondering if you could provide some additional information about them, about their origins, about their role in our ascension process and working with humanity, anything that might be beneficial for us to know about them.
All right, yes. They are guides like ourselves. In a sense, the term star mothers is guiding you to a certain quality of the support of nurturing and also birthing a new sort of humanity. So the star mothers are supporting you in this process of birthing humanity in you. And they manifest as the light language to bring in these new codes that you could consider the seeds of birthing new consciousness, the eggs existing within you already. So these codes are, in that sense, bringing fertility and new growth of this consciousness and all of the beings that receive it. Who they are? Well, they are very similar to us in that sense. They simply manifest in a different way. We, as the Pleaidian beings, come from the constellation you call the Pleiades. We are primarily focused on the star Alcyon, and some of us reside on colonies around Maya. We have existed for millions of years here, and we have at times visited your world, and as one of the first to engage in open contact with your world, we've been in an active agreement to support you through this process. You may call us by many different names: councils, mothers, siblings, surgeons. We manifest through different sorts of modalities and different sorts of connections for different individuals, though ultimately we are your soul counterparts. So we are reaching out to you in the same way that you can get in touch with a former, because again, time is an illusion, lifetime of yours, and let that energy bleed through. Though what's so important for your world now is in moving into this galactic era is that you bring in the galactic codes. So we, as your galactic counterparts, step to the forefront to bring these codes to you that can manifest as light language, as channeling, as movement, as energy healing, as song, as art. And however you bring this frequency into your world, we greatly appreciate it. And you will be guided at a heart and soul level to allow this frequency to manifest through you in whatever ways serve you and others.
Beautiful. Yes, I know I've had at least one Pleiadian lifetime, and I believe I'm on the Pleiadian Council, or so I've been told, but I'm just wondering, basically the type of work that's going on right now, and you know, myself and others that travel in astral to do work in astral, if you know, what type of work humanity is doing, you know, or light workers are doing at this time to assist you, or how can we better assist you through intention during our dream time, during our astral travels.
One of the best activities that you could do in astral travels now is the act of assisting the hybrid children in their learning process. There has been a hybridization program that we ourselves were not really involved in, but we supported in our own ways. And these children are now in the process of learning about your world, largely through the interaction that they have with souls from your world on astral levels. So by going there and meeting them, you also allow them to learn about how your world works, about how humans process reality and emotion. And as they get to know you better, it creates, in a sense, a landing pad for them to come to meet you as well. Another very important thing that you can do on the astral plane is repairing some of the soul level wounds of humanity that relate so much, as we've said before, to this consciousness of separation. And by experiencing greater unity and greater openness to some of the more traumatic experiences that took place on Earth and Orion and Vega, you might allow for this deeper soul memory of integration to take place and end some of the ways that the separation consciousness manifests on your Earth.
Wonderful, wonderful information. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and much blessings and love.
Oh, I love you as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, Wendy has a question. Go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, greetings to my council brother.
Hello, welcome.
The question that I have is related to how we may receive Pleiadian inner wisdom. I know that my team has been guiding me to seek and activate this more fully.
Yeah.
And so if you can give us any additional information on that.
Do you work with sound frequencies?
I do. I tend to work with them with myself, and then whenever we're like oming with our group for channeling or for blessings for our healing group.
Yes. Though, do you work with light language sorts of sounds as well?
Yes, I do. I've been speaking light language for some time, and I'm also this is my next question. I'm a Pleaidian merger with Green Pleaidian, so I'm kind of curious how many different kind of varieties, if you could say, of Pleiadians
How many varieties?
Yeah.
There's many different sorts of Pleaidian beings that come from different times and spaces of our world. So sometimes you are tapping into the ancient Pleaidian past, which sometimes is still your future, to bring about a soul level memory of your incarnations there. And sometimes you tap into more distant Pleaidian beings coming from a future. It's has everything to do, you could say, with the time-space reality that you attune to. Now, the different beings that come to your world from the sort of present, focusing on you through observation in our ships and so on and so forth, have many different purposes that are attuned to the ways that individuals are choosing to connect with these energies. Many of you who are present here today are working with sound and vibration and working with these telepathic level connections, though it's important to know as well that different beings do connect with those who think often in more logical terms, and we often implant ideas into the minds of those who might be unsuspecting otherwise to, in that sense, help support this influx of new energy and consciousness. So we would say certainly continue to expand into these practices with sound, and also you have the potential to channel in this way as well, bringing through vocal messages from these beings. So in order to do this, there's a deeper listening that has to take place. Rather than simply expressing these sounds, listen inside of yourself and ask for the voice to manifest as one of your guides who might be able to speak the message. And this process will deepen as you have experiences in healing sessions and in dream states in which you astral project out of your body to come to healing chambers on our ships. In these healing chambers, you can receive specific codes to let these new energies work with you and, in a sense, program your auric field to be a more receptive conduit to this energy as information and not just sound.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that information for everybody. For myself, I am currently a channel, and I do speak light language. I do healing sessions, and I work in the. They've told me I'm a quantum surgeon, so I will go out, build bodies, not just their astral, their emotional, mental, but also their physical, their actual physical cells with that capability. And I know that I'm working telepathically, teaching the hybrid children, and have a few of my. So blessings, and thank you for supporting that program.
Oh, great. Thanks. You as well. Yes.
Yes, many blessings. Light and love. See you on the next ship.
Yes, we look forward to that interaction.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ian has a question. Go ahead, Ian.
Thank you for being here with us today. You had mentioned just a little earlier about the different ships that the Pleiadians use and the speeds that they use. Do the Pleiadians come to Earth as, in a sense of like space tourism, in a way, you know, humans go to the Serengeti to go on safari?
No, because we come to serve, and serving is exciting for us. It fills us with a sense of expansion and unconditional love. Though your planet is a bit chaotic, we would say. So if we want to experience perhaps like a vacation, we go somewhere else for that. We come here to do work. And that is just as exciting for us.
Okay, so your travel here is specific to do work and not to, let's say, observe for entertainment purposes.
It's not that it is not entertaining. It is highly entertaining, though it is still an act of service for us.
What are some of the things that you find most entertaining about it?
Oh, we enjoy observing how humans behave, how they operate, and how they think. It is very much a deep insight into the way energy moves. So we come to understand the fundamental mechanics of energy through observing many different kinds of beings. And we see beings at the density of Earth behave in very similar ways. There are movements of expansiveness towards love, and there are pockets of fear-based energies. And then there are many different ways that these pockets of love and fear interact. And gradually, as people raise in love, they clear their vibration in many different ways. Sometimes those based in love will often still hold on to some fear-based tactics as a response to those more based in fear, and gradually they lift to higher and higher energies, embodying true nonviolence and true open-hearted compassion, to the point that the vibration in the entire area and eventually planet shifts and changes. And so we observe how these phenomena take place over long periods of time, and how we can, in a sense, raise the frequency by targeting those individuals who are more open to our energies and allowing them to, in a sense, be like transmitters to support the areas and those people that they are connected to, and connecting with even higher frequency energies.
And when you travel here, do you specifically, are you on the land of Earth, or do you stay in orbit on a ship?
Both.
Both. And when you're on the land of Earth, are you in a different density so that you're not visible to the human eye?
We have met some of you. Some of you have had contact experiences that were tangible, though it's not that we have to shift down to physical. Actually, those individuals who have had contact experiences have raised their frequency a couple of octaves above what you consider normal physical reality, and we meet in between.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much for answering my questions.
Oh yes, our thanks to you as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll go with the next question is from the Maveth, and then we'll go to the YouTube chat for a few questions, and then we'll come back to this room. So the Maveth has a question. I have to ask it for him because he doesn't have a microphone. He says, what advice do you have for people with harmful and excessive maladaptive dreaming? That's a mouthful. Maybe Maveth, you can explain that.
Harmful and maladaptive dreaming.
Excessive maladaptive.
Does this mean nightmares?
Maveth, if you can type your answer, that would be fantastic. If not, we'll go to the next person here. Daydreaming for hours.
Daydreaming for hours.
I guess to the extent or exclusion of all else.
All right. So if this is an experience that you have, one thing that would be very useful would be to focus on the frontal cortex of the brain. And this is a part of your brain that you engage when you have a sort of one-pointed focus. And you cannot be fully engaged in the frontal part of your brain and the lower part of your brain at the same time. The lower part of your brain is more connected with these trance states and out-of-body states, whereas this frontal cortex truly allows you to focus and actually then allows you to channel. So in this sense, channeling and daydreaming or visions or trances are different sorts of experiences requiring something a bit different from your brain. So one thing that would be very helpful would be to work with a image as a meditation. And this can be a candle, it can be a traditional yantra, it can be a sacred geometric form like the flower of life. The idea is that you put it in front of you in a way that you don't have to strain your neck. So at eye level, where you can rest your gaze naturally and focus upon it and focus on keeping this image in your mind and nothing else. Another way to engage this frontal cortex of your brain would be to work with a mantra or an affirmation and repeat this in your mind or repeat it aloud and focus on nothing else. Don't allow your mind to drift. Simply keep yourself focused on that one idea. You can also do this with an image, with a part of your body. For example, you can focus on your heart itself and keep an image in your mind of your heart perhaps filling with the light of the full moon, or filling with a vibrant energy such as that of a star, or maybe one that you're particularly connected to, like Pleiadian star, Maya, or Alcyon, or Sirius A and B. Picture these celestial bodies physically in your heart center and focus on feeling their energy, and don't allow your mind to drift. In order to snap out of this sort of chronic daydreaming, you actually have to take a disciplined approach to your mind. And the way that you can teach your mind to have this single pointed focus in a variety of ways will help you very much. Activities like reading, for example, also engage this frontal part of your brain. Watching films, listening to things do not. So you have to do things that require you to actively engage with the information that you are receiving and keep that one pointed focus. And over time, this will certainly help you to be able to choose when you go into trance and when you don't.
Thank you. Okay, Mavis, does that answer your questions? That was a beautiful response. Thank you very much. Yes, he says thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, thanks to you as well.
I just want to comment that it is important that there's a lot of people who have the idea and that you can just listen but not actively take action. And it is really important to engage yourself and to be part of your own solution as opposed to passive as a recipient part of it. And to really, because don't you feel that is sort of honoring also your intent by willing to take the action as opposed to just waiting for it to dissipate in some way?
Oh, yes, most certainly. And that is, again, bringing us back to the first thing we've shared. We didn't speak that much about it today, but so much of the material that we regularly share is all about this formula, that is, act upon your passion to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome. So in this sense, ascension and raising your frequency is action-oriented. There are many people within metaphysical communities that have many ideas and learn many ideas and have many spiritual experiences, but don't enact what they learn and understand. And right. Acting is actually the most important part, because you can change your vibration and download information, but you are nonetheless a physical being. So until that energy is enacted in your world and touches other souls and does something tangible in physical reality, it remains a sort of potential energy. And there are certainly individuals who get lost in this mental realm of ideas without being able to enact on the physical plane. And so we say that action is actually the most important part. And when you can tap into this higher frequency energy and translate it into actions that are heart-based, you will get the most out of all of these channeling sessions and all of the energy work you do.
Right. And that would include not only mental focus, but manifestation or any kind of thing that you're trying to bring in. It does require the action, the sort of the right action through inspiration, but taking the action and not thinking it's going to just magically fix itself. But the magic is the action. The magic is, yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that so much. Okay, why don't we go ahead and do Lily Pad, and then we will go to the YouTube room. So go ahead, Lily Pad. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, my question is do ETs, or do they do like a movement, manipulate? Are they manipulate humans' energy, they can manipulate the energy by moving the body.
We sometimes can.
And so because I'm confused, the reason I'm asking, I don't know if it's something more like a me or something else moving my body. That's what I'm saying, asking that question.
Was it pleasant?
Sorry?
Was it a pleasant experience?
None. I mean, no. I mean, it's just a strong movement when I'm laid down, and to a point that I want to sleep, and that get my attention. So I don't know if it's something of me or something outside.
And it's a sort of shaking in your body.
Yes, it's a lot of shaking and movement and it goes to different places. It goes down.
This is the energy that you would know as Kundalini energy. And there are other beings around you all of the time. However, they come closer to you as your frequency raises through this Kundalini energy, and they observe you, and in a sense they protect you. It can feel as if they are touching you, but the energy that is shaking you is your own energy.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for, I just wanted to make sure, because I had an accident, so a car accident, so I want to make sure it's not, because my back is sore, so I'm like, do I need to go to the doctor? But I have this, maybe this is a combination of two things, my energy and my physiological body.
Yes. The accident is calling upon this Kundalini energy to be an extra source of healing, to use the reserve of your life force energy to catalyze healing process moving through your body. And also part of the shaking is the release of trauma that is in some sense also connected with the Kundalini energy. So the most important thing that you can do is to allow the shaking to take place. And if you can surrender to it and release resistance, you drop the tension in your body, this energy will move to the various places in your body that need the most healing. The most important thing that you could do is to deepen your breath in the process, making sure that you're breathing to the deepest part of your lungs, filling your belly with breath, filling your rib cage with breath, filling the uppermost part of your lungs with breath, and exhaling, letting it go. If you can deepen your breath into this process, you can accelerate the transmission of energy, allowing it to reach the parts of your body that need the deepest healing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm getting to a point like, okay, I'm just gonna breathe and let it go. Because yes, maybe I'm fighting it. Maybe maybe I'm fighting it, and well, yes, thank you for your advice.
Yes, if you stop fighting it, it will get easier. What you resist persists, and when you let go and surrender, you might even find that this energetic movement becomes pleasant or pleasurable, even liberating, we would say.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Now I realize when I breathe, just start breathing more, it gets stronger.
Yes.
And then I'm scared it's gonna break my sorry, and I'm so silly. I'm scared it's gonna break my neck or my something because it's very strong. It's moving. I mean,
you can focus on also slowing down the breath, breathing deeper but also slower.
Okay. Yes.
And holding the breath on the out breath, especially. Hold your breath out for, we would say, 8 to 15 seconds. And this can also cause a deepening into this process and a release of tension.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's wonderful. Okay, so Angie is monitoring the YouTube chat, and I'll just turn it over to her to ask some of the questions. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank you so much. The first question is, which planet has purple to red lights with green stones and rocks entrances?
There are many planets that have these sort of features. We suspect that this person connected with the planet in Andromeda. We don't have a specific name for it.
Thank you very much. The next question is, can you explain how it is a great deal of responsibility for a person to be a creator being?
Well, responsibility is merely the ability to respond. So it is a greater responsibility when you step into creatorhood, because when you create something, many people will respond to it. And then inevitably, you are set up to respond to them as well. So the idea here is when you put out a message or a frequency, many more messages and frequencies come back to you. And then you have so much more that you have to respond to. That's all responsibility is your own ability to respond. And you choose how you define your responsibility. You can put upon yourself the weight of pressure when you insist you always have to respond in the perfect way. This is something we've spoken about in the beginning when it comes to dissolving the sense of human versus spiritual. Many of you holding yourself to such high standards, thinking that if you are really these higher embodiments of ascension, you must always respond in the perfect way. And sometimes as you raise your frequency, and yes, there is so much more to respond to, you make mistakes in the process. And these mistakes inform you of how to respond even better. So let go of the weight of pressure and let go of the tension. And you will find that as more and more information comes to you that asks you to respond, the response will be effortless, it will be natural, it will be authentic, it will come from your heart of hearts and from your own connection to higher self. And yes, of course, sometimes mistakes will happen, but you will learn from them and integrate them. And without having a sense of shame and burden from them, you will grow in an accelerated way that allows you to effortlessly respond.
That was an amazing answer.
Oh, we thank you.
Thank you. Another question is, this planet is made up of deceased multi-race beings of gigantic and smaller proportions.
Yeah.
Are all planets made this way?
No.
That's the direct answer. Can you give us the current and most probable timeline for a potential micronova and pole shift? And the second part of the question is, what can humanity expect in these coming years?
The pole shift sort of phenomena is not something you can expect anytime soon. 500 years from now, there will be some sort of acceleration in that process. Indeed, the poles are moving, we'll say that. They're moving, but they're generally staying near to their general location. They might move perhaps some hundreds of kilometers or miles in these next years, though they're not going to move that drastically. What to expect in the upcoming years, as we've said before, acceleration of open contact, new reveals of information, and the gradual disclosure of information about extraterrestrial life, more highly advanced artificial intelligence technologies that will be changing the way that certain systems and services work in your world, new sources of exchange of information and money that might be exciting for some of you, though ultimately won't influence things in an altogether negative way, but a new way. And various movements towards liberation, some of which are met by resistance, there are some levels in which you are experiencing minor levels of division and divergence between opposing viewpoints around certain issues. And you're seeing some individuals move more towards what you would consider a traditional or conservative stance, and some individuals moving towards a very open liberal stance, and sometimes even an excessive stance. And many of you are being asked to be that neutral place that is able to bring together seeming opposites and support the integration of different ideas. And those of you who can do that are playing a vital role. And many of you will be asked to step up into this role at different times in the future.
Wow, thank you very much for that.
Yes.
One of the people, Ryan Lan 11 says, my guides gave me a mantra to say or think when I am in a fearful state that works very quickly. This mantra is, I love all of my angels anyways. My question is, will this mantra work for others also?
Others who feel a resonant draw towards this mantra may experience benefit from it, most certainly. Though they will also be able to download their own mantras or affirmations from their own personal guides as well. And we would encourage you also to adapt this. I love all of my angels anyway. I love all of my own inner aspects anyway as well. So beyond seeing this love go to something outside of you, extend the love to parts within yourself as well. And you might come to see that the angels correspond with aspects of your inner being that are also made of the same unconditional love.
That makes a whole lot of sense. You don't have to be limitless in what it is that is going to help you. If you just limit it to one thing, then you may be missing another portion of that.
Yes, it is all that is that you are. So everything out there can be a source of help and inspiration if you see it from that holistic perspective.
Thank you. This is a really good question. Because I'm sure several of us experience this. And the question is, why am I having so much in UFOs landing in front of me in my dreams?
Oh, because of the acceleration of open contact. You are getting closer and closer to this. And so your dreams are preparing you to get more comfortable with this experience. And we know that many of you think that you would be so excited to meet extraterrestrials tomorrow, though we want to remind you how powerful these frequencies are and how much this experience will bring you beyond your physical experience into a multidimensional experience that will expand you and will challenge your energy field in some ways. So these beings can also meet you in your dreams, and these experiences are like opportunities to step into the vibration of meeting with extraterrestrials, each time getting a little bit closer in vibration and a little bit closer in vibration. And so we want you to also pay attention to the feeling that arises in your body as you experience the UFOs landing in front of you. There might be some fear that is being purged. Simply bring awareness to it, but also bring even more awareness to the level of excitement, to the feeling of expansion. And if you can return to this feeling in meditation, you can learn how to cultivate a flow of this multidimensional energy through your body. And then as you learn how to tap into it consciously, we invite you to tap into that energy underneath a beautiful clear night sky and see what happens.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Back to you, Karen.
Thank you so much. Braden has a question. Go ahead, Braden.
What is the Pleaidians' connection to the elder gods?
Which gods specifically?
The elder gods such as Azathoth, Yog-Sothoth, Shub-Niggurath.
All right, one moment. We also were in connection with the beings who worked with these gods in their time and space. That represented a time in which humanity was in a more resonant connection with us. So there are some of our archetypal energies that can reflect in these beings, but not in a way as clear as you might think.
Could you speak some light language, Pleiadian light language?
Inashkala onomakatata shikatara mokota bala es anamakotara masukata shikatara bolokotana akata au. Onimakatara odat ishka sanamakotara bokola as ayakatana mokota shika.
Thank you.
You are very welcome, yes.
Thank you very much. I love your fact you never hesitate to answer a question. It's beautiful. Okay.
Yes.
There's a question from Wendy. Go ahead, Wendy.
Thank you. I have experienced during stargazing the stars flashing different colors of lights at me, and the moon also has done this to me in the past. I'm sure others have experienced it if I have, especially within this group. Can you speak to that as far as when the stars are sending you colors?
Yes, there are multidimensional beings involved that are connected with these stars that are, in a sense, influencing the electromagnetic light spectrum to create this phenomena to remind you of their presence and your connection to these realms. These beings, some of them are extraterrestrial, some of them are angels, some of them are nature spirits, actually.
Oh, I did not realize that nature spirits were involved with the stars for some reason. Can you elaborate?
Well, they're involved in the electromagnetic light spectrum, and that is what is being influenced to create this perception.
Oh. Are there specific elementals, or it's the elemental of water?
It depends where you're at. It's different in every area. So it's also very much connected with where you're observing the stars from.
I understand. So I'm connecting with different stars based on the location that I'm at, and then the beings that would be there would also be able to influence the stars at that point.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you as well, yes.
Thank you so much. Angie, you have some more questions in the YouTube chat. And if anyone here has any more questions, please put a Q in the chat. Go ahead, Angie.
Thank you so much. I have, did the ancient Indians depict you, the Pleiadians?
No. We did come to meet some of these beings, and in that sense, we influence some of these civilizations, though some of these gods were, yes, supernatural forces, and some of them were actually divine beings that came to incarnate onto your planet.
Okay. Is every species in the universe connected through the heart chakra telepathically?
The chakra level is a little bit different than the spiritual heart that you're referring to. So understand the chakras are very small vortexes that intersect through your spinal column. Yet near the heart chakra is the spiritual heart. And the spiritual heart certainly influences the heart chakra a lot, but it's simply different levels of frequency and vibration. But yes, at that level that some have called by different terms, the source spark, the God spark, the soul spark, and so on and so forth, everything is connected to the all that is in the heart.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Karen, I can go back to you.
Okay, Ian has a question. Go ahead, Ian.
I once a while back, I was once on a ship. Well, I'll qualify that, a cruise ship, and I was far out at sea, and I was standing out on my veranda, and I noticed there was a very bright star nearby, but it was flashing colors. It was white, green, red, and blue, and it just repeated that over and over again. And I stared at it. I got my binoculars and looked at it. I couldn't figure out why it would be changing colors. I brought it up during dinner, and one of my companions said he saw it too, but he wasn't going to say anything. And since then, here at my home, I do see that same object in the sky. Do you happen to know what that might be? Because it seems rather close. I don't think it's a star. If anything, I think it may be a planet.
It is one of our ships.
It is one of your ships. That's very interesting.
Yes.
Because I couldn't explain the changing in color other than I thought maybe the moisture in the air was changing the prism of the light, but that's not the case. So that's very interesting that it's one of your ships, and I'm able to see that. Thank you.
Oh, yes, well, thanks to you as well.
Okay, I have a quick question for you. Recently, yes, in our news, there was a admission from an Israeli military person, or they were in government, I don't remember, but he's quite advanced in age now. And he said that not only had there been contact with the Galactic Council, and I don't know what your relationship is with them, though I can imagine you have knowledge and contact with them, maybe on a different level, but that he said that some governments, including the Israeli and the US governments, were in contact with them and had been, that there are beings walking around on our planet. And that the reason he was sharing it now is because he's old enough that he really has nothing to lose. And it doesn't matter if his reputation is exposed or ruined. So my question is, do you know about this admission? Was he in contact about it, or was it just him sharing something that he knew, but maybe it wasn't orchestrated as a sort of soft disclosure? That's my question.
It is the first of many similar soft disclosures that are going to continue. Others have been revealed in recent past years as well. And indeed, we are part of the Galactic Council, as are many other different extraterrestrial groups. So there are members from many different worlds that actually do walk upon your planet and are in contact with your governments. And yes, the people who get involved in these different organizations have to swear to great secrecy to be involved. And in a sense, there is a certain level of protection that is being respected. For up until recent times, great levels of fear were still present in the masses of humanity. And because you have been so influenced by films that present the ideas of extraterrestrial life as negative and evil even, there would have been more fear that would have been provoked by revealing this information. As humanity evolves and gets more resilient, this information can gradually be revealed. And so it is being revealed in soft ways now, so as to not disturb the masses, but to be something that reaches the minds that are ready to hear it, and gradually shift your consciousness to be more open and receptive to this information being something commonplace, leading to bigger and grander disclosures.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, Lilypad has a question. Go ahead, Lilypad.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Are all Pleiadians the same, or you all different? I don't know, different beliefs. Some maybe a more technology or spiritual, or I guess yeah. Are you all different or
We're
the
different.
same? Oh, can you
We're very different in some senses, in that you are, as human beings, sometimes connecting with your soul counterparts from different points in our history for different purposes. So sometimes individuals may experience one sort of connection with Pleiadian beings, and others may have a very vastly different connection. We also have different races, like in your world, and we don't necessarily have distinct cultures, though we do have different sorts of skin tones and different sorts of physical appearances that manifest in our world. We generally have the same value system and the same knowledge base as telepathic beings. There is a sort of collective information, sort of like an ethereal internet that is gradually downloaded to the consciousness of all beings in our world, that we inevitably telepathically learn from each other as we grow and mature as beings. And through this, there is less radical divergence in belief and opinion between beings, yet there are still individual and unique expressions that beings express in present moment realities. Though, of course, we've evolved to great degrees over our history, and because everything is here and now, when you as humans connect with the Pleiadians, you might be connecting with Pleiadian beings from various moments in our history that bring various, very different energies to you.
Okay, so where the Pleiadians originally come from? I mean, did you come from another galaxy, or
before we came to the Pleiades? Yeah. We were in Sirius, and before then we were in Vega, and before then we were in Lyra. But there's only vague connections in a sense, because a lot of this happened at an incarnational level, meaning new civilizations form that were souls reincarnating from those sorts of times and spaces. So it isn't that we moved to the Pleiades, we actually started incarnating there, but the karmic and energetic blueprint from the previous civilizations that we mentioned replicated themselves in our world.
Okay, thank you. One more question, sorry. My sister, she went at Christmas, she went to see, I have some family in South America. So yes. She went to see another family in a village, part of the family. Anyway, on the west of, and she saw, she believes she saw a spaceship, and the family she went to see, even the 5-year-old boy said, it was UFOs and he's not scared of them. So can you confirm this? What even they talk about UFOs, like they come and go through, I guess they're their neighbors. So yes. Can you confirm this? Probably they want to know, but they're not scared of them. They just like,
craft.
Who are the beings in there? Or the neighbors?
Yell.
Oh, yells. Okay. Okay. Well, that's all. That's my question. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks to you as well.
Cool. Thank you so much. I'm just going to go quickly to Susan and then to Safira. Go ahead, Susan. You're muted, hon.
Sorry, my headset. So hello again. So my question now is, I understand there's different predictions about there being a great solar flash, and my understanding is it won't necessarily be like a major destructive event. It'll be more of a personal experience, based on, I guess, your individual level of vibration and your, what you've done as far as inner work to to more easily assimilate these higher frequencies of light that are yet to come into the planet. And I'm just wondering if you can speak to a little bit about that and how we can best support ourselves through that process and also assist others that we love.
So there won't be this massive solar flare that wipes out your technology that some predict and fantasize about, but you're entering a period of greater solar activity. And this period will, in a sense, coincide with, yes, greater extraterrestrial activity as well, and more reveals of this information. So we want you to consider that in these solar flares, it's like you're experiencing a psychic purge, considering that the heart is, in a sense, rather the sun is the heart of the galaxy. It's sending information from this galactic heart to your own individual heart that is lighting up parts of you that are unconscious. So when you get the news about solar flares coming, ask yourself the question, what am I not seeing, or what am I unconscious to that I'm now opening my eyes to or integrating with awareness? What am I not seeing that I am now opening my eyes to, or what am I not aware of that is now moving into conscious awareness? And by sitting into that sort of a reflection and making peace with what arises within you, recognizing that you are feeling in order to heal the emotions that come to the surface, you can move through these experiences while clearing a great load and tuning into higher frequency energies. The other thing that we would encourage you to do is to ask yourself, what returns me to my heart frequency of love? Because healing is not necessarily all about this cleansing, it's more about maintaining a stable frequency. So when you find the actions, not just the ideas and the mental focus, but the actions that represent that stable frequency in your heart center, and you're able to maintain that stable frequency for sustained periods of time, you'll have resiliency through these changes. And this will change your energy field more than anything else. And it will change your collective energy field more than anything else. When more individuals are able to sustain a balanced heart state of love and joy, your entire planet will be very different.
Amazing response. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks to you as well.
Thank you. Let's see. Joan, we've already done. Safira, go ahead.
Thank you. Hello. I've been listening for a while on another channel, and I have a question about Billy Meyer. He was a very well-known contactee in the 1960s, I believe from Sweden, and he has many pictures, many communications about life on Era, for example, different Pleaidian lifestyles. But one thing he was told was that humanity will not be ready for open contact for another 200 years. This was back in the 1960s. And, you know, we're always told now, currently, that it's about to happen 1925, 19 whatever. But I wonder if the reality is that we will not be ready for another 200 years. Can you speak on that, please?
The probabilities are constantly shifting. And so recognize that in the 1960s, this was before any level of channeling and transmission of information from extraterrestrial beings was being openly shared. So this information reflected a parallel timeline of Earth. And in a sense, when this information comes through, there's a splitting effect that takes place between one timeline of Earth and another. And inevitably, this information supported you in shifting to a timeline of Earth that draws this timeline closer. However, there have been events, even in the past decade, that have pushed the open contact window further into the future. And so there's this back and forth dance that you're playing with, pulling the open contact window closer to the present, then pushing it back into the future, and so on and so forth. This happens every time Earth's frequency changes, and it also happens as your personal frequency changes, as you are tapping into and, in a sense, creating the version of Earth that you experience. So, yes, there's always the probability that open contact doesn't happen if you as a planet and you as individuals choose to shut it down with your fear. And there's also still the very likely probability that it is impending.
Okay. Do you have any insight into when it could be at the present moment, like where it's at the present moment? Open contact.
The open contact through these means of disclosure is taking place through this decade. By the next decade, the integration of, in more than information, but true open contact in terms of televised and internet shared footage of interactions between extraterrestrials and humans will start to be gradually shared.
Thank you. And another different question. We've been told through our different channelings that there is a separation agreement between Earth and all other planets around us, where extraterrestrials are not allowed on the Earth, nor are humans allowed off the Earth, except through military means like the secret space program. And yes, you mentioned that you're on the Earth right now. I wonder, are you aware of that separation agreement? Is your council? Well, actually, we always get information. We always get told by the Galactic Council that they cannot interfere with the separation agreement. So I'm sure they're aware of it. Can you speak to that, please?
Yes, when we say we're on the Earth, by and large, we do mean that we are in contact with your governments and so on and so forth. This is taking place, though there are pockets of open contact on individual bases that don't necessarily violate this agreement, because we are not shifting our vibration down to that of your reality, yet humans are shifting their vibration up to meet us. So they are going beyond the physical limitations of Earth into a quasi-physical state that allows for these sorts of contacts to take place.
Thank you. Sometimes I wondered if that separation agreement is real, or our governments are just using it as an excuse to keep us here. I wasn't sure. Thank you.
It's not as clearly limiting as you might think it is. So it doesn't mean that if you were a vibrational match to meet us, that you could not meet us.
Mm-hmm. But I couldn't travel off planet to meet you physically, correct? Or could I?
On astral plane we can. So this is what happens many times when people are sleeping and dreaming, that their astral body is able to go, but their physical body cannot go.
Right. Well, there are several couples intergalactically who are married. They got married in astral, and they want to physically meet either on the planet of one spouse or here, and that has not been allowed yet because of the separation agreement. That's what I was, yeah. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, of these marriages.
Yes, we're aware of that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Joan has the last question. Go ahead, Joan.
Thank you. Greetings. What do you mean by being a transmitter? How do we become one? I mean, a transmitter?
You are one fundamentally. Right now, your frequency is emanating from your body. It's emanating from your energy field. And so when you raise your frequency, you'll emit a different kind of energy.
I see. So everyone can do
just
that?
Like a light. The light shines. It can't not shine. And you send out a subtle energy, like a sound as well. A vibrating string sends out a sound. And you, in a sense, on another level, are a vibrating string sending out a frequency that emanates from your body.
Oh, I see. But I don't do sound, so that's why I'm wondering.
These are
if
metaphors.
Metaphor, etheric level, is that? Okay.
Yes, at an etheric level, a vibration emanates from your being. You radiate an energy, and that's why sometimes you meet a certain being and you suddenly feel an energy as soon as your eyes meet them, because you tune into their frequency and it affects you in a certain way.
Oh, wow, beautiful. Okay, I have one.
And so
That's all we have time for,
tell
John.
you, when you raise your frequency to a higher level, you will impact the world around you in a very different way.
Okay, just one last question. I've been told I am one of the seven sisters. What seven sister I belong to?
The seven sisters refers to our world, and yes, generally, Maya and Alcyon are the stars in which planets and colonies orbit.
Okay, so that's what our seven sister belong to.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks to you as well.
Okay, thank you. So we're at the top of our hour, and I want to thank you so much. If you have anything you would like to share with us as you go, or if you are complete, we are also complete. And so much love to you, and thank you for being here.
Yes, we simply remind you that you are embodiments of source and embodiments of unconditional love. And this awareness is the biggest thing that you can do to change your reality, but it does have to be backed by tangible actions. So as you dive deeper into your meditations, ask, what actions can I take in the world to share this with other people and to live this energy in every moment, to let this energy permeate my being so much that I remember my true nature in all moments. We thank you very much, and we trust this information will continue to resonate with you, and that you all know and trust that you can reach out to us and tune into our frequency on your own, acting as a channel and a transmitter for higher frequency energies and extraterrestrial consciousness whenever you would like. So our unconditional love is with you now and always, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day then. Okay.
Wow, thank you. What a beautiful,
You're
beautiful
welcome.
channeling. So beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was fantastic. Before we go and before we do the blessings, if you have anything coming up that people can participate in, how they can reach you for sessions or any of that, all of the information in the bio that you sent is in the description of this video. So it's there, but if you want to announce anything specific.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, my website's dantestarshine.com. And there you can find all of the information about channeling sessions. And I also have a channeling course that's enrolling for sometime in February or March. It's channeling and an intuitive healing course. It'll be like the 5th time that I'm running it. And you learn how to connect with your guides and do different techniques that support the deeper connection, as well as getting different skills to work at an energetic level to kind of read another person's energy field and guide them through processes to release whatever beliefs and emotions or traumas that are stuck within them so that they can open up to a clear level of connection. And as you do those techniques, you go through them and receive them. So it's not just channeling, but it's kind of like a personal transformation program. And as well, there's the guidebook to living level of Earth. Usually I like to hold up a copy, but I gave my phone away because it was too heavy. It is a pretty thick book. But
Wait. Your microphone just changed.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Is it better now?
No, you went into sort of a walkie-talkie mode, I guess.
That's so weird.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have.
No, it's perfect now.
Oh, okay.
It just changed for a moment. You have to listen back. You went into like walkie-talkie mode, like you're on a CB radio or something.
It's so weird. People have said that before. I think it's the internet connection going out. Yeah. Did you hear what I was saying about the channeling course?
No, so please say, it's when you said about the course, you said it's a transformation program, and then that's when it changed.
Yeah, so it's about learning how to tap into our connection with our guides and bring their energy through and go into these different altered states. But it's also personal transformation program in that you're learning different tools that you can share with people that and practice with people to kind of read their energy field and guide them through the process of releasing traumas, negative beliefs, and blockages in their energy system. But of course, in order to learn this, you have to go through the process yourself. So it's not only learning the channel, but it's tapping into these processes and being guided through these processes in a group setting that usually ends up being a very like close community that meets every week for 3 months.
Okay.
And then there's like a little chat group as well where people send messages and questions in between meetings. So the information that's on the website, and also there's a channeled book called the Guidebook to Living Love on Earth. I usually like to hold it up and show it to people, but it kind of was too heavy and I gave it away. So it's a pretty thick book, but it's available in a digital copy as well. And also you can get the recordings of them. You can't, so you have to actually email me about the recordings because it was, you know, what, 20 channeling sessions or 19 channeling sessions, a crazy amount that were recorded and transcribed. And it took a long process of many people editing those transcripts to create this book. But it really covers every imaginable topic about life on Earth and some topics about, you know, if we experience it in this way, what is it like in your world? So, you know, about education and relationships and governments and all of these things so that we can learn from the council, like, well, if you do it this way, how can we be more like you? How can we bring this energy in? Yeah. So it's a really beautiful book. It includes meditations as well. And I also do astrology readings, and you can find, again, all of the information is on dantestarshine.com, and there's like a link tree as well, like linktr.e/Dante Starshine.
Okay.
And then I'm on YouTube. So every month, I used to do it every week, I do a channeling session like this. Dante Starshine is the channel. And instead of doing it every month, I'm just posting a lot of short channeling clips throughout the month and then doing it once a month. And there's the public channeling session. And I also do some kind of closed container group sessions for questions that might be more personal in nature.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to
It's
say.
a lot.
Thank
You have a lot happening. So that's great.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. And there's more books in process, like a book that I'm writing about traveling around the world for the past 10 years and being supported by these gifts, and then more channeled books. And yeah, I keep myself very busy, what can I say?
That's awesome. Well, Dante, it's been so fantastic having you here, and it was so serendipitous.
Glad to be here as well. So exciting to connect with this group and have really good questions and information that I hope really, resonates and helps out a lot of people.
Well, you are welcome anytime, literally
people on my channel.
When you feel like you want you know, you want to come on, just do what you did and we'll do it. So you're always welcome. Cool. All right, so thank you again, and please get in touch with Dante. Much love to you. Thank you. We'll end with some announcements and then some blessings. Go ahead, Anne.
Thank you so much. Our next class, Tarot Mastery class, is scheduled for next weekend, January 28th and 29th, 1:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Our instructor is going to be our host, Krishna Priya. And so if you're interested, please email classes@hucolo.org, and I will get the information out to you on how to register for this class. Very excited for it, and Krishna Priya is also excited for showing everyone.
I'm excited. It's been, you know, a while coming, so I'm excited to share this information. And again, if you have any questions about the class, email Angie, and then we can get that out to you. But everyone is welcome, and I hope to see you there. So
thank you so much.
I think Joan is not going to be able to do a blessing as she doesn't have sound for some reason all of a sudden. Maybe she can relog, but I think we'll be done before then. In the meantime, Wendy will give a blessing, and then we'll say goodbye, and Jim will be back next week. And again, so much love to you, Dante, and I hope that you and I can be in India at the same time, which would be fantastic if you ever find yourself in South Carolina, of all places, you are definitely welcome to come here. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I might come to North Carolina later the year, but we'll see.
Well, I'm close. I'm only about, depending on where you're going to be, about 50 miles away. So.
We'll be in touch.
Okay, cool. All right, Wendy. You'll
Beautiful.
send us out with that prayer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dante, and thank you for your beautiful channeling. It couldn't have been more apropos at this time for each of us in our questions.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to share.
Ranyara korinyara tairin yuronyara kaira pahirnara. Onyara tira na haira taira koinye toa. Winyik chikdiria mantakdiriana hoinyara kahinara ho. Ashkri. Ishtriyama. Oh. These are sound frequencies that are coming in to assist you with the current levels of frequency that you are connecting to. As many of you, after hearing this channeling, will be reaching out to the ethers, if you will, connecting into the starshine and sunshine, asking for these messages. And as they come, the frequency may be a little overwhelming for you. So this channeling of toning is to assist you with that assimilation into your body to make it softer. We send you our many blessings. We too are from the council. Blessings to you. Greetings from the Pleiades. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I kept calling Dante Dante Sunshine yesterday. So maybe that was a little nod to my my faux pas. So, okay, much love to everyone. Again, Dante, thank you. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, everyone, to everyone in the room and everyone in YouTube. And if you would like to be a part of Human Colony's sort of club that we have and support Human Colony, please go to hucolo.org/webinars. And for $10 a month, you can support us. And that means that you also have a place in the room for every one of Jim Charles's channeling. And that really helps us keep the lights on. So thank you so much. And we love you all. Thank you.